I've been making music and DJing for nearly 6 years, and I decided to take it seriously probably about four years ago. And a question that I asked myself was basically what I wanted out of music, which is a question I think a lot of artists never really ask themselves, which means they're kind of on a path, but they don't really know the direction of the path. So I've always loved music, and when I found out about electronic music and started DJing and then producing, I kind of fell in love with it. But for a long time, I had the love and the passion for it. I didn't necessarily take it seriously as an actual path forward in life. For a very long time, I was basically, it was a hobby, and I thought that there wasn't really a path to kind of become a real artist. And this is something that I'm thinking about right now, where I am at the stage where I feel competent and confident in myself as an artist, but I'm trying to figure out exactly what it is I want from this. So just a couple years ago, I kind of dedicated myself to music, and I started kind of almost obsessively learning about production and DJing, and kind of going out and clubbing was such a big part of my life, and some of the best people I've ever met in my life have been through music. And even though I felt like I wanted to take music seriously, I didn't really know what that meant. Basically, I knew I wanted to DJ more. I knew I wanted to make music that makes me proud. I knew I wanted to share it with people. I knew I wanted to kind of act as a real artist in the world of electronic music and techno. But that was still so vague. It was kind of like, it was like a low resolution image of the destination I wanted to go towards. And with that image, I still had no sort of strategy or tactical steps that would take me there. I basically didn't really know what it meant, and it took a little bit of time. I think it's one of those lessons where to receive a certain piece of feedback, for that to resonate with you, you have to be at a certain stage. It's basically like a pyramid of knowledge, and basically if you're at level 1 or 2 and you get an advice that is a level 7 advice, it might be the right advice, but you're just not at the right level. It's not the right time, it's not the right experience. You haven't had enough of your own sort of knowledge to understand that piece of advice. So a lot of advice that I've heard throughout my time trying to become a true artist and DJ and make music, a lot of feedback kind of went over my head, and I kept hearing the same advice over and over and over again, until at some point I heard the exact same advice I've heard 12 times before, and it suddenly just all made sense, because I have built up that pyramid underneath for that to make sense to me. So I think this is kind of the whole path of becoming an artist. It kind of feels like that, where I think some people get there faster than others. A big part of what helped me was kind of having someone there that was experienced and knowledgeable and wise enough to understand my position and help nudge me in the right direction. And a big influence on me was Simon Stokes from Subsane Academy in Glasgow, who was basically kind of like my mentor and my tutor in lots of different ways. So it was partially learning music production and DJing, but such a big part of what I learned through being around him was just being around him and having those discussions around music in general, about artistry, about what he has done, what he knows other people have done, how they did it. And it's such a rare and valuable type of knowledge to basically be able to have someone to discuss these things with, which is also a big part of why I'm doing these videos, because I feel like I am talking to myself a step behind and a step ahead, which I'm hopefully able to kind of think things through and document my path, and in a way hopefully that will help some other people like you watching kind of understand that. So kind of where I am now is I'm kind of trying to play the long game of becoming an independent artist. So what this means is I kind of want each day to be the day that I want to live. Basically, I want to make music, DJ, hang around with people with similar passion and values and goals. I want to live healthily. I want to be able to kind of exercise, eat well, sleep well, kind of live on my own terms, surrounded by music in lots of different ways. So I think on the surface, there is like a threshold of my goals, which is basically to comfortably and sustainably be living financially off of my own music, which is a milestone because that will allow me to release a lot of pressure of myself, because kind of money and art are a tricky combination. In a way, I watched this video from this guy who's a little bit older guy, who basically saying that he's finally reached a point at which he is financially supporting himself from his art. And it was a reminder to himself that in order for him to continue doing that, he has to forget about money and he has to continue working on his craft as if money wasn't a question, because every time he worries about money, the money disappears and goes away. And every time he forgets about money existence and he just focuses on the art, that's when the money keeps coming back. So I think that's the threshold of kind of practical, tactical approach, what I want to achieve. And beyond that is kind of, actually, before I start thinking beyond that, I think how I'm going to do it is I'm going to focus a lot more on my own independent growth and channels. So I want to be in direct contact with my audience, with people that care about my music. And this is what I'm doing as well in these videos. So I already write a weekly blog about music production on my website with nearly 400 people now on my email list, which is kind of crazy. And even it's not that big of a number, but it's already kind of feels crazy to have 400 people that have kind of joined the list, hear my sort of ideas around music production, philosophy, creativity, and are still there, haven't left. So that's pretty cool. So I think I want to give to the world a lot. Similarly, kind of, I'm trying to find a way to use social media in an interesting way. And something that has resonated with me a lot is kind of approaching social media not as content, but as art itself. And I think this will come to me in a way of my intention. So when I'm posting these videos, when I'm posting on TikTok, Instagram, whatever I'm posting, my goal will not be to make content. It will be to be creative and make a mini piece of art each time that expresses me and is authentically me, and it's something that means something to me and expresses something. So that simple shift in the intention on how to use social media kind of really resonates with me. So this is the goal as well going forward. And I want to release more music myself as well. So that's the goal over the next 6 months, is basically find a way to release my own music, because releasing on labels is an important part, because once you release on a label, the audience of the label finds out about you. So that's a great way to reach new people. And at some point you basically, it allows you to kind of speed up your process, because if you release 5 EPs on your own, you are either talking to the same people or you're at the mercy of whatever way you are promoting that music, or whatever you use Bandcamp for it, whatever. Whereas releasing on an external label, you basically reach a whole new audience of people who find out about your music, which is great, and that's the goal as well, I think. But between that, especially because I make so much music, I think I'll be able to release on labels to reach new people, and then also release music on my own to reach the people that already follow me, and contribute partially to me being able to kind of live independently of my art and my music. So that's the practicality of the goals for the future. And the philosophy, I think, is about reinventing myself consistently. I get bored of my own music quite quickly, which it happens from session to session, but also from kind of season to season over months, where I just need new inspiration. I need new input in my life and my creative workflow. And that comes in internally, where I kind of explore my own self, my emotions, my feelings, what I love musically, what I love about life, and trying to express that. And that also comes externally, which is kind of techniques and plugins and speaking to different people, collaborating with different people. So I don't really want to keep making the same music. I mean, I can't, because I get bored of it myself. So that's the kind of goal. And this is my favorite artists are those who are kind of reinventing themselves all the time, kind of pushing boundaries of their own expression, of their own skill, of their own creativity, where I'm kind of looking forward to each release, because I know there's going to be something else there, something new. So that's what I'm going to do as well. And it's important for me as well to just kind of focus on the art, on the music, kind of authentically and honestly, in a way that resonates with me in the best way that I can make it. And in that way, hopefully it will more deeply resonate with other people, because making music for other people doesn't really work. And it's another lesson that I think I heard for a long time and ignored, and then I had to learn it myself, that pretty much every time I make music for someone else with an idea of I want a certain label or a certain person or a certain group of people to like this specific piece of music, it always falls short of what it could have become. Whereas if I strive to make the music purely for myself, I basically want to love the music as much as I can. And once that happens in a sort of counterintuitive way, because I really like it, it more deeply resonates with other people that like similar music. So yeah, that's the goal right now. So something for you to take away is potentially just kind of asking yourself, what it is that you want out of music, out of your art, out of, kind of on a deeper level, kind of life, what it is, and asking yourself what it means in practice. How do you live every day? What does your perfect day look like? If money was no object, what does your perfect day look like? And then how do you design that day so that you can live it every single day in a way that brings you enough income so that you can live off that? That's kind of my 5 to 10 year goal to do practically. So worth asking yourself kind of what that is for you. And then creatively, I think a lot of artists never ask themselves what it is that they desire creatively, kind of what is their art about. And maybe for some people that works. Maybe some people don't want to investigate that. Maybe for some people, making music for the sake of making music is the goal itself, and that's great. It's like all these things, especially in art, are just so extremely subjective and individual that it's really hard to listen to someone else's advice or feedback, because it's, it has to be the right time and the right place and the right person for that piece of advice to be right, and even then sometimes that might not be right. So yeah, I think looking inwards and deciding, you know, is music a hobby? Is this something that you want to do for fun, and is that enough? um, you know, a lot of artists just have a job and then make music on the side, and they're completely happy and satisfied. Some people just love the DJing part of the music industry, and I think for those, you just have to kind of double down on that and kind of find a way of like what does it actually make, what does it take to become the best possible DJ that you can be, and kind of reverse engineering that and finding ways to do more of that. So yeah, maybe leave you on that. Hopefully there'll be something helpful for you that kind of helps to motivate, inspire. And if you're still here watching, super cool, super cool. Yeah, there will be another one. So yeah, thanks for watching.